Once upon a time, in a tranquil village nestled amidst ancient mountains, there lived an industrious potmaker named Wei. But fate had dealt him a cruel blow. All his life, Wei had been molding pots of all shapes and sizes for the wealthy merchants, barren serfs, the city nobility, and miserly wayfarers. But during that one season, when orders surged for the Diwali festival, misfortune struck. The heavy monsoon rains lashed the land, and it culminated in the destruction of Wei's large thatched hut, the storehouse for his precious clay reserves. The flooding waters of the downpour washed it all away into the nearby river, leaving Wei devastated, robbed of both means and spirit. The loss was irreplaceable, plunging Wei into a pit of despair. No longer did the zeal for his craft drive him. Instead, a pervasive gloom settled over his days. Secluded within his dwelling, buried under layers of blankets, Wei found solace in nothing but the suffocating grasp of depression. He had no inclination to even attempt work because he knew that all nature wouldn't grant him fortune. He would spend days at a time bottled up in his hut in the warmth of a feather quilt. Days passed into weeks, and family members and vendors alike would approach him to inquire about his work. He would give them vague reassurances and promptly dismiss them. Even his best friend Kaio couldn't get through the blanket of apathy he had wrapped himself in. Eventually, Wei confessed to his friend that his mind was occupied by a terrible feeling that nothing mattered to him anymore. That even if he tried to recuperate the loss from his business, he would feel indifferent. The heavy cloud of sorrow and despair hung over him with an unrelenting obstinance. He felt that at its very core, life was futile and meaningless. Kyo understood Wei's misgivings and urged him to visit the monastery beyond the hills and seek out the abbot, a Zen master named Kyoto. At Kaio's insistence, Wei finally acquiesced and made the arduous day-long journey across the hills. There, he came to the base of a temple, and under a tree he spotted the lonesome figure of a man sitting cross-legged, hands on his knees, deep in meditation. He knew at once he had found Master Kyoto. With trepidation he approached, and the master, sensing his presence, asked him, "What do you seek, child?" Wei began to lament his misfortune. "Master, my life is bridled with misfortune, and I can't deal with it. I am lost in the abyss of my thoughts, unable to find my way out. Day after day, I am stricken with a deep sadness, one that tells me that nothing is of any use. I'm paralyzed and want to be rid of it so that I can get back to my pottery." The Zen master, understanding Wei's predicament, smiled and spoke softly. "Not far from here is a bamboo grove, but amongst the verdant expanse stands a solitary bamboo tree, quite like yourself, towering over its companions, its slender frame reaching for the heavens. This bamboo tree is unlike any other. Its roots run deep into the fertile soil, anchoring it with steadfast determination. Time had sculpted its trunk, carving resilience and adaptability with every passing year. Throughout the seasons, it endured the scorching heat of summer and the biting chill of winter. Yet it remained unwavering, standing tall and resolute. One fateful day, a storm swept through the valley, unleashing its fury upon the grove, a storm you are quite familiar with. The storm caused the winds to howl, and rain poured from the sky in torrents. The bamboo grove trembled, swaying violently in the tempest's grasp, but none as much as the towering bamboo. For hours the storm raged on, testing the bamboo's endurance. Yet despite the ferocity of the gale, the bamboo did not resist or fight against the wind's fury. As the storm subsided and the morning sun cast its golden rays upon the valley, the bamboo grove stood in silence. A serene calmness enveloped the land. Amidst the tranquility, the bamboo tree remained unbroken, its branches reaching toward the heavens once more. Witnessing the bamboo's resilience, the monks gathered around the grove, marveling at its grace. There is dignity in facing turbulence with equal parts resolve and indifference, and this, I imagine, is why you're here. We try very hard to control nature, and when we are unable to contain or predict it, we fall into despair. Like man's futile attempt to control nature, we often try to control circumstances or emotions in life. Buddha says that, as the softest clay hardens if not handled, so the mind hardens with too much pressure. Remain supple and flexible. When you release the need for strict control and instead embrace flexibility, you can navigate life's challenges more gracefully. The bamboo tree stands as a testament to the understanding that you don't always have control over external events. Despite our best efforts to contain it, nature can be unpredictable. Accepting this lack of control will allow you to respond to adversity with resilience rather than frustration. Remember that the bamboo that bends is stronger than the oak that resists. Be flexible in your thoughts and actions. The only reason you feel troubled by external events is because you can't curb your own ego. We think too highly of ourselves and expect much favor from nature when it can promise us nothing. You must learn to suffer with dignity and to embrace challenges without losing composure if you wish to seek true happiness. In times when you seek indemnity against nature, look to what it has given you and not what it has taken. Only when you understand what you have will you understand the favors cast upon you. Gratitude is the surest way to never give in to despair. Be grateful for every moment in your life. Good or bad, each has a lesson. Wei pondered Master Kyoto's teachings on his trek back home. He realized that he had been the unwitting victim of his imagination, and that the misfortune that had struck him was greatly exaggerated in his mind. It was in fact his ego keeping him from getting to his work, not the fate that befell him. He realized that even if he lost his clay, he still had his skill as a tradesman, his reputation in the markets, and most importantly, the companionship of Kyo. He made his way to his hut and began gathering silt from the river to begin his work from scratch. Nature had not taken that away from him, at least. Embrace the concept of flexibility in dealing with emotions. Understand that emotions, including sadness, are transient. Like the bamboo bending in the wind, allow yourself to experience emotions without getting stuck in them, knowing that they will eventually pass. Recognize and accept feelings of sadness without judgment. Observe them as a spectator might as they rise and fall like the ebbs of a tide. Do not let a conflated sense of self make you pity your own circumstances. Nature has not put anything so high that it is outside the grasp of valor and industry, even if it means rebuilding your life from scratch.